Hey all, Heretic here, and hey, let's see if you could win with, I don't know, 25 gold a turn. Every turn. Base gold. Maybe more. Let me explain to you the build. Now this build is making the rounds for a long time, and I've played a lot of games with it. Too many maybe, but I've also gained a lot of MMR because of it, and ultimately, it's a fun build. So what you're looking to do in this build is to find certain minions to put together this combo at tier 2. You are looking for primarily an elemental in a demon lobby. Pirates can do it. You can do it without the demons, but realistically for me, elemental and demon are the two key tribes to make this build work. What you're looking to do is get the tier 2 3/4 land lubber. Now this is an elemental pirate that the tavern offers an extra tavern spell after each refresh. You want to have as many of these as you can. Realistically, one golden one and a normal one will definitely do the job. You can go crazy beyond that. I don't think it's really necessary. Usually one golden one can be enough, but a golden one and a normal one are kind of the sweet spot for this. Next, you're looking for the Soul Rewinder. This tier 2 3/1 demon is after your hero takes damage, rewind it and give +1 health. Won't be obvious why this is good. We'll get there in a second. And finally, the tier 2 3/4 elemental Bejeweled Duelist taunt. Whenever you refresh, gain +1 health. You're going to be refreshing a lot with this build. You're going to be digging, and you're going to have the means to where you're not wasting gold to dig, or have so much gold you don't care. Now in this build, if you can't find a landlubber by turn 5, I suggest you stop. If you keep digging for the landlubber but you have everything else, you will lose. So if you have the other parts, move on, find a new build after turn 5, the latest. If you have the landlubber, you're good to go. Let's explain to you how else we make this work. Now the idea of this build is you're going to stay on tier 2 essentially as long as possible. So as long as you have enough health, you're above 15, staying on tier 2 is a really good idea. Typically, I can stay tier 2 till turn 10. If you're really lucky, turn 11. The reason for that being is starting on turn, say, 8 to 10, you're going to start getting nutty amounts of gold. If you've had decent luck, we're talking 30 to 60 gold a turn, and then your base gold slowly climbing till it itself can be 20, 30 gold a turn, depending on your luck of what you find, how long it took you to find the lubber, and how often these spells come up. Now this build is built around finding as many strike oils as you can, but you don't want to just buy a strike oil if it means you're out of gold, or if it means you have to freeze the board. You want to buy it when you have a bunch of gold. So if you're starting a turn and you say have 15 gold, you don't mind buying the first 3 of these you see. But once you're at 4 or less gold, you're going to look for the other cards in this build a little harder, because it's important to continue rolling so you can get more of the value. And let me show you in the other spells why. Hasty Excavations, you're going to buy every single time once you have that Soul Rewinder. Now this is why we have the Soul Rewinder, because in a game, you can buy 20, 50 of these, and instead of paying any health, you actually gain health on a minion, and then you gain gold. The reason why this is so good is because you're going to be rolling so much, you're going to find a ton of these staying at tier 2 with this limited pool. You are going to keep getting these with the free rolls we're going to generate later. Using those free rolls, we're going to get more gold and be able to buy more strike oils and more of the other spells we need to get bigger. Careful investment is one you're going to buy every time. This thing is tier 2, 1 gold to get 2 gold for your next turn. But as that gold pile ramps up, this is what allows you to get 30, 40 gold a turn just on a bump for a turn. If it's not permanent gold, but it doesn't matter because you're getting so much for so little. And in the early game where you can afford to, and where your minions are gaining health because you're rolling and they're gaining stats because of all the different things you're doing, you can survive long enough to take advantage of this economy. Overconfidence is one you're going to buy when it feels right. This is tier 2, 1 gold. If you win your next combat, gain 3 gold. If you tie, gain 1. The idea behind this is if you are fighting the dead guy or someone who's incredibly weak, maybe doing the same build as you, but isn't having much luck, or just playing bizarrely, and you can buy 4 or 5 of these in a turn, that's a ton of gold for almost nothing. So you definitely want to play overconfidence when it makes sense. If you're fighting the dead guy, you almost always want to buy as many of these as you possibly can, because it's just printing money for you for the following turn. Next, leaf through the pages. Tier 2, 2 gold. Your next 3 refreshes cost 0. So you're spending 2 gold to get 3 rolls. This is going to be one you want to buy basically every single time you can. And the reason for that is, as you are sitting there cycling with these, you're going to find hopefully on average, a number of hasty excavations, thus paying for this, thus giving you extra stats on your board for your Bejeweled Duelist, and from that Soul Rewinder, and allowing you now to find more of all the other spells we're gonna get. The Strike Oils, the Careful Investments. This is gonna make you generate a ton of gold, and it's just gonna keep piling up. And at first, it's gonna seem like you're not getting much. The first few turns is gonna feel kind of muddy, especially the first couple times you do this build. But once you get going, once you hit that turn 8 or 10, if you've had average luck, you're gonna start getting but just a ridiculous amount of gold. It is just gonna start skyrocketing turn after turn after turn. And basically, unless someone high rolls, you gain enough stats where you can usually beat them down with what you're finding. And finally, the last spell that's going to help you stay competitive is Pointy Arrow. Tier 1, 1 gold, give a minion +4 attack. Well, if your Bejeweled Duelist suddenly has 80, 90, 100 plus health, for 1 gold, throwing 4 extra attack on it is going to make you be able to keep going. Oftentimes, in the mid game, the Duelist is going to be the last thing left on either board. Still going to have like 30 to 50 health, and it's going to be a monster. Pointy Arrow helps it get that attack so it can actually do the job. Now, these 3 cards aside, they're definitely going to be a combo unto themselves, but what can help you get there also is using Patient Scout. Patient Scout is going to sit on your board and just slowly get itself to tier 6. While you're sitting there generating tons of gold and stats on your board, Patient Scout is going to slowly get you there to a win condition. It is very much in your interest if you can get 3 of these to triple this thing, because you only need to have the 1 on the board until you triple it. It's still going to keep its tier of wherever it has upgraded to. That means when you get that tier 6 minion, you're going to get 2 of them. So the earlier the better you can get Patient Scout, but once this thing's online and slowly building, this is going to more than likely give you a nice direction for when you finally have all that gold to turn. And you pop the Patient Scout and you go, this is what I'm going to do. You take those 2 tier 6s and you go nuts. So you've got the spells, you got the gold, you've got the minions. What are you doing? What is the final bit? Well, when you get to tier 6, now it's whatever win condition you want. You're all set, you're ready to go. But remember, if you get a Nala when you get to 6 immediately, you've already got a bunch of different tribes on your board, and you're already generating a ton of spells because you have that golden land lubber. Now, you could just go a Nala build and just keep casting spells like crazy. Splash in a massive enscrolled fungus and just be insanely big. Every time you cast a spell, the fungus gets bigger. Nala's buffing the rest of your board, and you just watch it scale out of control. This build is nasty, folks, and can really win some games flashy in the end. And it's a lot of APM, so it's a lot of fun. Living Azurite is another win condition for this board. If you're already cycling a bunch of spells, then why not, using your landlubbers, extra ones in the shop, buff your elementals to big proportions. Just keep cycling spells, let that Azurite get your board to the point it needs to be. Now, it's not as effective as the Nala build, but if you don't find the Nala, Azurite is tier 4, so it's a little easier to find and definitely can do the job for you if you have enough time. You certainly have enough gold. Now, when it comes to heroes that work great with this build, a lot of them will work. Anything that can give your minions on the board already a little tempo is going to be more valuable because, well, you've got tons of economy you're producing. You're going to get access to tier 6 minions, so you just need things to help you survive that early and mid game. I like heroes like Mukla, just so you can stick the bananas on your duelist. That way it has a little attack in addition to some extra health. Or Rakara. If you've got a giant duelist and every time a minion dies, your minions are getting +1 health, or the minion that kills it gets +1 health, that means your elemental taunts are going to be massive health, and then they're going to kill things by accident because they can't die, they're too big. They're going to then buff their attack more and more, steamrolling your opponents down. And of course, let's not forget Edwin Van Cleef. Now, his hero power is give a minion +1/+1 for 1 gold. But this upgrades every time you buy 4 cards. Well, guess what? You're going to be buying a lot of cards with this build. You're going to be cycling like crazy. So the hero power often giving you +25, +30, +60 for 1 gold happens later in the game this goes. So if you're offered Edwin in this particular lobby, and this is a build you want to do, he is a fantastic hero choice. But really, any hero that can work that's going to give you that advantage. So I encourage you to explore because there are some weird builds you can definitely do to make this work in your particular lobbies. These are just 2 examples of ones I found that work. And that's the basics of how you do the Landlubber build. There's a lot of variations. There's a lot of potential. Some people will force it in no matter what. Just pirates are in, I'm gonna do it, some people say. And it is a lot of fun, this build. This is a crazy amount of APM. I encourage you to go try it out. Hey, if you want your video here, hey, if you have an interesting highlight build that we haven't done before, something new and flashy, submit your video over on our Discord. Let me know. That way I can get you credit. We can get it posted and we can show it off to people. Thanks for watching all. Let's go jump into some of the shop phases real quick, and then we'll show you what an end state board like this can look like. Thanks for watching. Later.